right. Hi, everybody. This is Danra from Soul Illumination with Danra, and this is my very first interview. And of course, I picked the person who is like the most grounding source of love for me right now, Diane Whitten. She's like the center of the universe for me, and we're going to talk about all the synchronicities that got us together. Welcome, Diane. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. It's good to be here, Danra.
Yes. So, for all of you people who are wondering what an earth goddess looks like and feels like, it's Diane. So, she is a tree, she is the sun, she is Gaia. Beautiful. So, thank you, because I know we've been talking a lot in our groups about like divine feminine is really online right now. So, I'm really excited to see what we can get into today about that. So, I realize that I don't know a lot about how you got started in all of this. Do you mind
hmm
sharing a bit about your origin story?
Well, I think it's been a really gradual process in a lot of ways. I think there's a lot of these topics that I have been interested in forever, but I would say that my sort of gateway drug to the woo was actually through yoga. So I started doing yoga in 2016 when I lived in London, and my yoga teacher was really like truly a priestess. So I think she opened a lot of doors for me to my own heart and to the idea of grounding and to the concept of movement as a way to um, like embody some of these practices. So I think that that was the way that things started for me. And then, along the way, I think during COVID, when everybody went online, there were a lot more classes online. So I took tarot and astrology and lucid dreaming. And then about a year and a half ago, I retired from the very left-brained thinky job that I was doing and had a lot more time to dedicate to classes and whatnot. And that's when I took I took a psychic development class, and then I also took Talking to the Dead, a mediumship class with Nicole Pope, who is a common thread. Who I'm sure we will touch on her later. But and from there, I think I've really spent a lot of time over the last year and a half really dedicated to being more in touch with my own soul and my spirit team and being able to do mediumship and all of those sorts of things. Yeah. And it's mostly been through classes and then really very intentionally setting out to meet people in real life who um, have similar values and who value this sort of communication and connection that we're having.
That's beautiful. I forgot that you lived in London. You also went to Arthur Findlay too, right? To do
I
some
did. So,
there.
it's so funny because I did not know about Arthur Findlay when I lived in London.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I lived like 10 minutes away from the College of Psychic Studies in
Oh my
London.
God.
Also, didn't know about that. So, it's all a process. But I went to Arthur Findlay last fall in November of 2025. Mhm.
Mhm. Well, part of what we're talking about today is synchronicities, and maybe you were meant to live in London right next to where you were eventually going to come back to, and that was just a sign that you weren't aware of at that time. But Diane is the center of my universe in many ways because you were the major synchronicity path that got me to also Nicole's group. So it was so complicated how many steps it had to take to get us together that I actually made a little bit of a slide, which is so divine masculine when we're trying to put together the divine feminine. But this is the best way I could do to like not get confused myself. And the beauty of it is by us trusting all the breadcrumbs and those synchronicities and actually following them, we found our sisterhood. There is like such a longing, I think we all had until we
Yeah.
finally met each other. Like something is missing. Where is the rest of where are my sisters?
Yeah.
And now we have this beautiful group in Nicole Pope's group, it just feels like, yes, we have finally, I just feel so calm and relaxed now. And like we're supposed to be in this circle of love and power. Anyway, thank you. You're the reason that I found that group. So let me share. I kept this as a surprise from Diane, just so she are you able to see this?
Yeah, like Suzanne Giesemann right at the top.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So this is meant to be like a little roadmap here, but okay, I'm gonna share some of my parts, and then Diane, I absolutely need your help on your parts because only if we said yes to all these things would this have happened. So my awakening started last year, so much shorter time frame when Suzanne Giesemann came on a podcast. And I didn't want to listen to it. My car refused not to play it. And then I got obsessive, which is what we do when we're left-brained. And then I started a spiritual Avengers group here in Vermont, just with other secret woo-woo people that I discovered like on the streets, like, oh, you're a druid? Cool, let's talk. You got a rock in your pocket? Hooray. And then one of the Avengers said, oh, I'm presenting at this conference with Aaron Tuller. You can come for free. I was like, of course, I want to come to this for free. And then at Erin's conference, she had prizes, and you could win to join a course of hers. And I win nothing. In the history of Danra, I've never win things. And I was the first name pulled to get in this somatics class. Okay. Not knowing that Diane was in that somatics class too. So, can you share a little bit about how you found that class? Because I've got this little map. Like, I'm in Vermont, Erin is in New Hampshire, Suzanne Giesemann's things are in New York, and you're in Virginia. Like, there's no reason that we should have overlapped here. What's your
Right?
side? Yeah.
It's so funny. And I'm not sure that I think I did recall hearing that story about you listening to a Suzanne Giesemann podcast, but that's essentially the same way that I found Suzanne Giesemann. So I started taking these classes with Nicole Pope. It must have been like last January or February of 2025. And at the time, I started finding, like, looking for podcasts with other mediums and whatnot. And I must have somehow Suzanne Giesemann crossed my awareness. And I'm like, oh, okay, that she seems interesting. And we have a background that's actually fairly similar.
Mhm.
And like the first podcast that I listened to her, she was promoting this film that she was screening, this documentary that she made called Wolf's Message, that was a documentary of a book that she had written called Wolf's Message. And I looked up, and they happened to be screening this documentary around the corner from where I used to live. And in like 2 days later, so I could look this up. It was mid-February, I think. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't have anything going on that night. I guess I'll go to that. So I
Mhm.
went to her documentary, and I was like, well, this is pretty cool. And this seems, I mean, it's all about signs and synchronicities, essentially. And at the time, I didn't know anybody else who was there at that documentary. And so I just went to it. It was really cool. And then, went home. And in the course of the conversation I had in one of the Monday night practice circles, I was talking with Carol Lamb, who's also on your chart
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
And I think that I mentioned, I'm like, oh, hey, I went to this documentary. It was pretty cool. And Carol was like, I think Suzanne Giesemann's going to be at Omega Institute in July. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting, right? Like, just took that information in and didn't make any plans based on it. And then later, I have been seeking a group of local to me in real life women who are also, interested in these sorts of topics, who are very intuitive and that sort of thing. And one of my local friends was teaching a tarot class, And I went to her tarot teaching class just basically because I wanted to meet anybody who was going to show up for a class like that.
Right.
And met this other woman who lives nearby me. And she mentioned also that Suzanne Giesemann was going to be at Omega Institute
Mm.
in July, and that she knew Suzanne Giesemann and that she was going to this because her uncle is in Suzanne Giesemann, is somebody that Suzanne Giesemann talks about in her book. Like she's known her for
Oh,
years. She's
wow.
gone to her trainings like every year for years. And so she was like, I'm going, you should go. And I'm
Oh,
like, oh, okay. And then I looked at it more seriously because this is like the second or third time. Because I think Carol and I had this conversation a couple of different times. And I think I told Carol about this afterwards. I'm like, oh, I met somebody who's going to go to that thing at Omega with Suzanne Giesemann. And at the time, I couldn't go because I was on pet sitting duty that weekend. My husband was traveling, my daughter was going to be gone. And so I was on, responsible for the pets that weekend. So I'm like, oh, that's too bad. I can't go. And then literally my husband's travel plans fell apart. And I decided, like, probably less than a week before that, oh, okay, you know what? I actually could go to um, this event at Omega. So signed up kind of at the last minute to go to this. And for anybody who doesn't know, Suzanne Giesemann is an evidential medium, and she channels her guides named Sanaya. Um, and, she has a very specific demographic that she attracts, I think, in part because of her story about how she became a medium, which is that her stepdaughter was struck and killed by lightning. So I think that it was like an interesting, before I went, I thought, well, this will be an interesting thing to go to, but it's not necessarily the same thing that I'm like the same path that I'm going down. But I think that she was very interesting. So anyway, that things all aligned for me to go to Omega. And I really, it's like you said, listen to these little whispers, like it kept coming up and kept coming up. And like literally multiple people had to tell me, you should go and invite me to go for me to decide, okay, I'm going to listen to this now and go. Um, in the meantime, I had been taking these classes with Nicole and doing the practice circles and listening to her podcasts. And at some point on one of her podcasts, she interviewed Aaron Toller and was talking about Aaron Toller's work with somatics and Nicole's experience working with Nicole or with Aaron.
mm-hmm.
And I really like don't exactly know why, but I signed up for Aaron Toller's June class on somatics. I
Oh
mean,
my God.
it was because I had heard about it on Nicole's show, and I'm like, well, that sounds kind of interesting. Um, and I think that, again, for people who don't know, like somatics really works with a lot of healing really deep trauma and where it is located in your body. So it was very helpful and very useful. And it was interesting to me, Danra, because the class only had like a few Zoom calls
Yeah.
in June, at least one of which I missed.
Mm-hmm.
So you and I were only on a Zoom call like a couple of times. And it wasn't like a class where you and I were having a conversation. It was mostly like the participants in the class asking Erin a question and her responding.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, anyway, yeah, that's my sort of path, a little bit winding path to how I ended up going to Omega.
Oh my God, the universe just completely lined this up from all directions because Nicole has her own story about why she shouldn't have been there. You have your own story, like that pet sitting thing had to be cleared for you to go. And
Mhm.
I had my own sequence and events. Like if I hadn't just spontaneously gone to Aaron's thing and then won that prize, I never would have met you, which like none of these, all of these things could have been thwarted at difference. Any of them would have led to a different outcome. And that's so funny you mentioned about Suzanne Giesemann's movie for the Wolf's Message because I have my friends Ashley and Maria here my friend Maria was like, "Have you ever been to Lilydale in New York? It's very spiritual and you should go someday." Literally the next day, Suzanne Giesemann's Wolf's Message opened up in Lilydale. And I was like, girlfriend, we need to go to Lilydale, which we did. So she then learned about Suzanne. And then she later came to the Omega with me, along with my friend Ashley, who we also had a synchronicity where I work. I came out one day and she was just standing next to her car. Like if she had gotten into her car like 1 second earlier, I wouldn't have seen her. I was like, Ashley, how are you? And we started talking. And I was like, by the way, I start talking to dead people now. And she's like, oh, have you heard of Suzanne Giesemann? I'm like, shut the front door. I'm going to Omega. She's like, I'm going to Omega. Like, what? so, so many. So, yeah, Ashley and Maria came to Omega. You and me came to Omega. And Nicole was at Omega. Little did we
Hmm.
know.
Hmm.
So, Diane, how did you run into Nicole there? Because that was also another synchronicity, right? There's
That
there's
was
like hundreds of people there.
there were hundreds of people there. Yeah. And yeah, it was so funny. Another like just weird series of events that lined up, right? Like I had set all of my camping gear because I was camping at Omega. I had set it all out by the front door, had everything ready to go. And I had my daughter's very deluxe camping mat that's like a mattress sitting there ready to go.
Yep.
And as I was taking her deluxe mattress, I decided to take out the other three small air mattress camping mats that I can't like hiking camping mats that I had in my tote full of gear and got to Omega, set my tent up and went, oh no,
Yeah.
where's that? Where's that camping mat? And I was just like,
Oh,
oh, I mean, I'm just like, I was just like, I'm gonna have to sleep on the ground. I was just like dreading this. And I'm like, well, I know I have a yoga mat in my car. So let me go back to my car and at least get that. It's not gonna be super comfortable, but it's better than sleeping on the plain ground, right? So I
yeah.
walked back to my car and in the process of that, walked through the registration area where everybody was lined up registering to get into the Suzanne Giesemann weekend event. And, walked out to my car, walked back, got my stuff set up, and then looked down at my phone and saw that I had a message in the app that Nicole was using. And she was like, are you at Omega? I'm like, I am. Are you here? She's like, if you're not here, I just saw your doppelganger.
Yeah.
I'm like, I am. I'm going to the Suzanne Giesemann thing. And so I was, so she's like, that's where I'm going. And it was just about time for the first evening event. And so I had actually had somebody suggest to me when I was in line for dinner to go save a place to sit because it got really crowded. So I had gone in there and I had set my stuff down, like my hat and my drink container or whatever. And then when Nicole told me she was in there, I went and I like ran back over to the theater and she was sitting right in front of where I had set my stuff down and just slightly off to the side, like in a place that I would probably have seen her had she not seen me walking through the registration office.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and it was just like, no way. I had no idea that she was going. She had no idea she was going. Honestly, it sounded like she really had just decided a couple days before.
Yeah.
And when I've asked her, like, why were you there? She's like, I don't know. Spirit told me to go. And I was just following what Spirit told me to do. Um, and I mean, I was just so delighted. It really was important for me to meet her in person. And
Mm.
we hung out all weekend and I just sort of had, I had the opportunity to see her like that was in an environment where people were very open to the kind of conversations that we have and to sort of receiving impromptu readings, which I don't think any of us do unless we're very clearly invited to do so. And it was an
Mm.
environment where that was a possibility. So it was very interesting to sit with her all weekend at meals and whatnot and have her like just drop in, do readings and see how that worked. Yeah, so that's how I ended up there. And Nicole basically said she didn't know why she was there, but she was there. And that's how we ended up running into each other.
Oh my gosh, it's such a like vortex of all. I could just see us like moving on little pieces on a game board, just coming closer and closer together, but not knowing
Hmm.
that each of us was there. And so then, of course, our interface was, as you said, we barely knew each other. Like,
Hmm.
I think only because my name is slightly weird that that might have stood out to you. Now, I had at Omega, so I had been there a couple days with my friends Ashley and Maria, and not aware that you were there. And then one day I was like put on a name tag. Like I had never worn a name tag. It was like day three. Like, you know, you could give up on that. But I'm like, write your name extra big. So I wrote my name extra big on this name tag. And then it was a break or something. I'm like, go to the bathroom, you know, and oh, let me find the bathroom. It's like down under the building. I don't know why these things happen because I hadn't been to that bath, whatever. So I come out of the bathroom and walk past you coming down in, and you're like, Danra? And I was like, what? And were you in, you know, the somatics class with Aaron? Yes. Oh my God. And so I don't even know how you know, clocked that it was me or that my name, I don't know. And then like, oh, I'd love to introduce you to my friend Nicole Pope. And then that's the end of the story. I wish that we had known earlier that we were all there because I would love nothing more than to have just sat with these two women. You know, I had my other beautiful friends there, so that was my focus too. But it, oh, just looking back on it, like we were all there. Gosh, it's like, come on. Um, so, and then of course Nicole's group, we've been in it and we have all these side chats. I feel like if I don't talk to you and the people in this group, like this beautiful group of, I don't know, 13 women or so that
Hmm.
we meet at a couple times a week, like there is nothing more glorious than sisterhood, you know, and us coming together. So, was there anything else that happened with Nicole at that trip or that you
I mean,
remember?
yeah, there were a couple things, but yeah, and it's funny. I don't know how I must have seen I mean, Spirit must have drawn my attention to your name tag and your face, right? Because that's all I had seen on the
Yeah, yeah,
video.
yeah,
Um, and, I think that it was also like, I think that this is an important thing for people to hear is that it is not like me to like approach a person like a stranger and be like, Danra, hey, I know you, we
yeah,
know
yeah,
each other. Um, But I think that that's a really important thing to do sometimes, to be kind of brave and to reach out to somebody that you don't know and be like, oh, hey, I think we were in this video class together like a month ago. I mean, so I think that that's, you know, I think it's like you said, we're all seeking each other. And I think that there's some level of trust you have to have that this is what a lot of people are looking for right now is this connection and that requires a little bit of vulnerability and a little bit of like putting yourself out there sometimes.
yeah.
um, I would just say the other thing for me that weekend, as I had been taking these mediumship classes with Nicole and um, I was really struggling with like being able to trust that this information that I was getting was real and to trust that this whole experience it's like a really real thing. I think that it's, it, I'll speak for myself. It's been really ingrained in me that this is, you know, that there's one version of reality and that this stuff that we're doing, connecting with spirit and talking to the dead are not part of it. And I think that that is now, I really think that that was like the furthest thing from the truth. And part of my journey to get to that level of trust was there was a really key moment in this weekend when basically Nicole and I had this conversation with this woman who just sort of like joined our conversation. Like she wasn't with us. Nicole and I were chatting, and this woman sort of jumped into the conversation. And then Nicole ended up giving her essentially like a little brief past life reading that was
Oh, wow.
information that was very significant to a current life health issue this woman was having. Um, and I mean, I was sitting there while she was doing this, and I'm like, wow, that's really cool. When we went back in and Nicole opened up her iPad to take notes for the next session, it opened up to a page of notes that from a reading I had given Nicole like a couple months earlier,
Oh
where
my God.
I had laid out the whole this whole like scenario that I saw in this reading of like there was a house fire and there was like somebody who died in this house fire and because they couldn't get out of it and whatever. And that was the exact reading that she had just given to this woman
Oh, I
who
just got
had
the
the health
chills.
issue in the current life because her health issue was something related to her lungs that
Wow.
the doctors in the real life can't they couldn't identify the source of the problem or how to fix it, but it was like causing her to not be able to breathe. And so when Nicole pulled up those notes, I was like, oh, I thought that she was talking about, I had totally forgotten about this reading. I totally forgot. She's like, no, this is a reading you gave me.
Wow.
This is why you gave me this reading. I'm like, because it was the exact scenario, but neither of us had remembered. This was just like a practice reading in a class one night. So anyway, that was another synchronicity that was for me to really trust that what I'm getting is real.
Yeah. Yep. Wow. What a beautiful validation there, because we all
Mhm.
need those at the beginning, right? Like I had a different validation path, and yeah, it's easy to second guess. I mean, I think we still do that, right? It's like
Mhm.
I still am like, well, because it just gets bigger and bigger. These more fantastical things are happening, and like there's implicit trust there, but that human part kind of sneaks in sometimes,
For
right? Like
sure. Hmm.
uh because everything that we're doing is just not what the brain can conceive of, really.
Hmm.
It's hard to reconcile just with our puny little human brains, like, really? You know?
Yep.
Wow. So that trip was clearly a lot of synchronicities for you to get that validation, like hear it in firsthand, to meet Nicole, for all of us to meet, which then led to this
Yep.
sisterhood,
Hmm.
for my friends to come to who needed some deep healing and opening on their own journey. Wow, I guess we really have to thank Spirit and Suzanne Giesemann and Aaron Teller and Nicole. Medium Nicole, you should go check out her
Right.
group. It's like, she's amazing.
And Carol and Janice, both of
Carol.
whom
Yep,
told me I had to go. I had to do it.
yep. Wow. So this tree picture here, I'm sorry, it's AI, but I was trying to get a sense of like how I see you, Diane. Like, and we talked about being a grid worker.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so there's no doubt that you were a tree, a big, freaking beautiful tree that is old and ancient. And somehow, there you see the lightning there, you can withstand this ridiculous amount of energetic power that you then transmute through your root system deep into the earth. And I picture all of us, collectively holding hands around this, that you're not alone and that we're all helping anchor, but you are really like a force behind that. Um, I don't know, I can stop sharing too because I haven't seen your face for a while, but is that resonate with you? Like that image? Like, is that something deep in your identity that matches or?
Yeah, it's funny. I'll have to share a photo for you of there's actually two trees in my yard that are like that. They're
Oh my
these
God.
huge, huge old catalpa trees.
Wow.
Um, and yeah, I mean, I have always had a love of plants and the natural world. And I mean, that's such a big part of who I am. And that's actually, part of my sort of spiritual journey is also a journey through, herbalism classes that I've taken and understanding like the healing power of plants and, not just like the medicine that we get when we ingest them as tea or tinctures or whatever, but like how healing it is to sit in nature with them and tend to them. So yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm very, very, connected to the earth. And, I would consider it such a huge honor to be considered a tree, a giant old tree. And the role that those trees play in like, um, holding together the soil, but also like transmitting nutrients through their roots, and the trees talk to each other. We just, as humans, haven't figured out how they are doing it or
Mm-hmm.
how any of these plants are doing it. And I think that that's, another part of this journey is like the understanding that we as humans, there's a lot of things that we don't understand and that are happening without our awareness and are happening for our benefit. So, how important it is for us to tend to the land and to the trees, and to all of the flora and fauna. I'm just so deeply passionate about that too.
Yeah, I've been, the energetics lately have been insane with the eclipse and the fire horse transition and all the planetary astrology. It just seems like Schumann resonance, everything is like buzzing in a new way. And it's finally spring here in Vermont, and I actually ran to a tree. Like I ran with my arms out, like, I need you. And just, clung there for a little bit. And there's a deep connection there. You can almost hear them talking to you in this very slow, like ancient, deep, soothing kind of voice. Um, do you have that kind of connection with those trees that are on your land that you sit with them and okay.
Yeah, I definitely I have. I've gone to these different trees and just tuned into the energy of each of the trees. I mean, not each of them, there's so many of them, but some of the sort of anchor points of the biggest trees on this property. And yeah, I feel like they each like have their different roles here as well. Um, and I just whenever I just feel so grounded. There's one tree that is my favorite that has a root that sticks up that's right at like the level of a chair. And so you could sit on this little sort of, I don't know, this root that sticks out of the ground like about a foot and a half. And you can lean back against the trunk of the tree. I mean, it's just the most beautiful thing.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite tree is one we walk on, and sometimes I would run up and like tickle its armpits because its arms are up.
Uh-huh.
And I told this to somebody, and she's like, okay, this tree really loves that you love it and that you're, coming to it consistently. It also said, remember to honor the tree. Like, don't just run up and tickle its armpits. like, oh, of course, and they were saying when a tree is there, like protecting the land
Yeah.
and doing far more than what we see. So now when I go past these trees, I like greet it with honor, say, I see you, I honor you. Thank you for protecting this earth that we live on and for, transmuting our energy and giving us beautiful air to breathe and things like that. I've taken a little bit more of a sacred approach once I got that feedback. So
Yeah.
in case people are drawn to trees lately, that's one way you can connect with them. Um, so can I completely change the topic and talk about our amazing Ishtar combined experience that was almost
Yes.
like a psychedelic trip without any kind of drugs whatsoever, very
Right.
spontaneous.
Yes.
So Ishtar, what's your memory of that whole experience we had?
Well, we were doing a practice session in one of our um, practices one night, and I can't remember what we were supposed to be doing, like what the topic was supposed to be. Um, and I remember just sort of like, tapping in, and I'm like, I got the, I got this bizarre image, and I'm like, I mean, I did the human thing. I'm like, okay, that's not what we're talking about. So let's tap in, and I got it again. And so then I'm like, okay, well, Danner, here's what I got. This is so bizarre, but I see like a woman of African descent with her back turned away from us and hair that's curled, like kind of like some kind of a hairdo, right? Like a
Mhm.
done up hairdo. And I'm like, I see a like a creek. No, it's not a creek. It's wider than a creek. It's like more like a river. And it's like, and there's like some kind of a mountain scene or something. And you were just like, oh, I know exactly what you're talking about. And I'm like, I thought I was totally just making this all up completely.
I'm going to
So,
share it because I took
yeah,
a picture of it because we needed it to see this.
yeah.
So, I mean, could this not be more accurate to what you were describing? The beautiful updo and the wide, and you said there's mountains, it's not like a regular river. And this card, the surrender to the sweetness, I have like tons of tarot and oracle decks, right? And for some reason, this card came out to me like a month before we had this meeting, and it stuck with me. I'm like, I'm going to put it right here next to my desk. So it had been the only card that was next to my desk for a
Hmm.
month. And I'm looking at it and you're describing it, and I'm like, what the hell? And so we're like, let's follow this breadcrumb.
Yeah.
I opened the book, was like something about this, and they were talking about Ishtar, right? So here's the picture of Ishtar, which neither one of us had connected with Ishtar before, right?
Hmm. Right.
And so we got a little brave and we're like, I guess we're supposed to go together to talk to Ishtar.
Right. Right.
Um, and then do you mind sharing what your experience was like from that? Because that was like a completely transformative thing for me to do that with you.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because you were like, okay, well, let's try channeling Ishtar. And I'm like, well, okay. I've never, I mean, I would never have occurred to me to do that, but I'm like, yeah, okay, let's do that. And I mean, I just, this, the intensity of the power that she came through with is hard to put into words.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I, it was just like a lightning bolt. It was very um, like a lot of momentum. There was a lot of momentum with the power that she came through. I mean, like I'm not saying the word force, but it was like a lot of power coming through. Um, and then I feel like that we just like kind of went on a journey, and I feel like there were a lot of like circles of women gathering around
Mhm.
us, and sort of like these circles that started out wide and then like kept getting closer and closer as there's like more and more of us, and we're coming closer together around Ishtar.
Mhm.
And I remember um that you talked about like I feel like I should bow to her, but I'm like, yeah, but she's laughing because she's like, if you bow to her, you're bowing to yourself.
Mhm.
Um and even now when I was talking about this, I don't know if you're feeling it, but I can just feel this
Yeah.
like, it's
Yeah.
really like a very like this like a connective energy bringing together a lot of souls and light. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, over to you now for your like your experience of Ishtar and that channeling.
Yeah, I just remember also checking in with both of you. Like we were both like, "Are you okay? Is this too much?" Like I can't, I've never experienced this kind of power before. Whoa. Yeah, it was that like immediate feeling of it's so powerful that I kind of shrunk down a little bit. That's where, yeah, and she came in with like a booming voice, like, yeah, if you bow to me, you bow to yourself because I am you and you are me and we are everything. And I was like, oh, oh my gosh. And her being up on a mountaintop was like such a clear presence. I mean, standing like so regally on top, and just every woman that has ever lived and currently lived was down below, equally dressed in just like spectacular clothes, but we were sitting. And then as Ishtar came through, we rose and slowly walked forward towards her. And like the power, the collective power of the divine feminine was crazy. And I just remember that there was this like cloudy darkness, like floating in a circle that we all kind of walked toward without fear. And it just kind of dissipated and I think the message there was you don't have to do anything, you can just be.
Yes, 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 right.
Oh, woo. I mean, it still gives me chills. And then we had the image of several of us from the group being close to source, right?
Hmm.
And we were sending our energy down
Yes.
to you as that beautiful tree. And I was like, Diane, how are you doing this? And you're just like, you're fine. Like you just
Yeah.
what do you remember like from your side what that was like? Because I was worried. I'm like, there's no way that one
Yeah.
person can handle this.
Well, you know what? I think I do remember that very clearly. And I do remember feeling like it's so hard to describe this, but it's like this funnel of energy, and it was funneling down. It was very intense, but in not in any kind of a bad way, but really intense. It felt necessary. It felt right on time, is what it felt, right? Like this is good. And I feel like that my role in that moment was just to hold it, like just to hold the container for it, like not try to contain it necessarily, but just to be there as like helping to funnel this energy down. And I feel like this is like exactly what a tree does. Take the power of the lightning and shoot it down into the earth and out into the roots, and the nutrients that are contained in the lightning are then infused to all of the plants that are surrounding this tree. And I feel like that is like, you know, a, the analogy that my little human brain can come up with for what was happening there. But it was so it was a lot of energy. But I'm also like, this is the coolest thing
Yeah.
ever. And I'm so like happy to be a part of this. And also, like, I don't have any words to explain this, but I'm just going to keep going with it. It was really, I mean, I feel like that it was a part of this major shift that is happening on the collective level. And, um, like that we all have a part to play in it. And my part in that moment was to be a container for this energy that was funneling down and then coming together and then funneling out again.
Mm.
Um, yeah.
I feel it right now. Do you feel it?
Mhm. Yeah, it's pretty intense. It's pretty intense.
Um, and so she was the first Egyptian goddess that I've ever interfaced with. And then since then, our group, like you and me and some other women in the group, have been called by Sekhmet and Isis.
Yes.
And we've done similar things where we kind of, okay, let's commune with them. What is it that they are wanting to teach us or share with us now? And all of them are like the divine feminine is ridiculously powerful. I think that there's some good universal messaging out there for people because the world is like chaotic right now. It feels like we don't have anchors, and it's like we need to do something, we need to, what are we supposed to do? And I have that same impulse too, but it's like just by being you as a woman and anchoring in your authenticity and doing what brings you joy is the power, and
Mhm.
we just released to it and accepted it, and it was intimidating, but wow, what a good visual reminder too that we all have that power. It's not like this is just for Ishtar and she's up on a mountain. Like eventually we all had images that we all are standing next to her on that mountain. Like everybody is the same in
Yeah.
that way, which is again hard for us humans to kind of accept that we can hold that kind of power. But oof, yeah. Diane, that was a very pure experience. And I'm not surprised it was with you, given all of the synchronicities that brought us there. We just keep saying yes, like, oh, there's this card. Oh, Ishtar, sure. Who's she?
Sure, let's channel Ishtar. Yep, yep, yep. And
Uh,
yeah. And I think a lot of that it's all about kind of like going with like the nudges are so subtle, right? Like they're so subtle and there's so many times like I could have just again brushed away. I mean, I think spirit does kind of have to like smack me sometimes because I'm like, no, I'm like that image isn't going to be resonant. I'm going to go to the next, but no, that's exactly what I was supposed to see. Um, and I would say it out loud and be, again, like be vulnerable to be like, this isn't going to make any sense to you, but here's this thing.
yeah.
Um, yeah. And I think that this is this power that we channeled with Ishtar and with these other goddesses that have been coming forward. I mean, I feel like this is the sort of the future path that we're all sort of like stepping into. I think that this is, understanding that our own connection to the divine, understanding our own power as the divine is part of this experience. And, I think that you're right about the world feeling like chaotic. And so in moments like that, I keep focusing on what it is that I want to see in the world, which is, connection and community and everybody having the minimum at least that they need in order to be comfortable. And I think that this is a reminder that that's a world that we can create. We have the power to do that. And I think that that is part of why so many of us are like kind of lighting up right now. I think
Hmm.
that's part of the journey that I think that we're on.
Yeah, my next question was going to be like, what do you think people who aren't into this world yet should take away from this? And that seems like a good message that you just said about, um, even in the chaos, there's a lot of that duality that comes up, like you can't have the light without the dark, but you don't have to fear the dark, you can face it. And then that brings in more light. So I guess that could be intimidating to people who are just getting started. Is there anything else that like you would go back on your early self and tell when you were just starting the journey? I wish that somebody told me this, um, so that I don't have to be afraid about taking these steps forward.
Yeah, it's interesting because I had talked to a friend of mine about this whole like lack of trust that I had in whether or not this stuff was real. And she had such a nice perspective that, how do any of us know that our beliefs are real? It's like the other, dominant belief systems out there. There's, that requires a leap of faith. So in my opinion, and based on like the advice that my friend gave me is like, take a leap of faith in the thing that you want, and that makes sense to you and that feels authentic to you, because it doesn't matter, like even if people think like, okay, well, channeling Egyptian goddesses is a bridge too far for me,
Yeah.
then that's fine. Sit quietly with what your own heart says to you and what your own soul says to you. And,
Hmm.
you know, with that, just sit quietly with that. It doesn't, and if the rest of this is a bridge too far, then that's perfectly fine. Um, just listen to your own self and know that you are, um, we're all like droplets of divinity, droplets of divinity within this ocean of divinity. So yeah, I think that's the main thing that I would offer up to anybody is just to sit quietly with your own intuition or your own soul, whatever that feels like to you, whether it's connection with your own heart, your soul, whatever that is. Sit quietly.
I love that message because we were just talking about that in group. Like I was saying, when I start getting overly energetic, I try and like ground into the earth and things like that, or use crystals or something external to me, run and grab the tree. And that's an important message to remember, that we're already equipped in our own bodies by ourselves with how to manage these intense amounts of energy and what's happening right now. I found that really empowering. Also not easy to do. I'm not going to say that I'm good at that yet.
I
It's a
would, yeah, I was thinking that as you were talking to, I'm like, that's aspirational for me at this
yeah.
point. But in the meantime, thank goodness the trees are there and the crystals are there, and the other tools are available to us. And we, I do think that this is all something that we can tap into internally and have that steadiness and that calm and that peace and that serenity just within our own sort of fields. But, you know, until the time where we're all able to master that, like use the tools that you have available, which is like grounding and then connecting to, I don't know, whatever it is that's, the connection point. You can call it source or the divine or your higher self, whatever the terms are that work for you. Just know that that connection is there and that that's available to you. And for me, that's very grounding, is very calming, and that it enables a clearer connection.
Mhm. Yeah, I didn't know until last year that anybody could do this at any time. I thought, oh, I haven't been seeing ghosts my whole life. That's too bad. Maybe next
Yeah.
lifetime or whatever. And yeah, that's why Suzanne Giesemann drew me in because she was late to this as well and very left-brained, military kind of background. And I was very left-brained. So I love that message that reminding people literally anybody can do this at any time. I mean, both of us were in careers that were very like masculinized and just
Yes.
like you almost feel locked into that system, but it's okay to open your mind that you can actually do any of this as well. And I think following the breadcrumbs is important because obviously the breadcrumbs led us to like these beautiful experiences and the power of community. I mean, I can't say enough how much I love you and the women in this group. Like without them, you would just be kind of floating in the world, feeling like you're a
Yes.
weirdo who talks to dead people.
Yes. Yes.
But it's so normal. It feels at this point like home. Like this is just
Yes.
remembrance. It's not, this is more normal than anything else going on right now.
Yes.
Um,
Yep. It does. It feels like home. It feels very comforting. It feels like it's so nice to know that I am not insane. Like I'm not crazy. And like there are people that really appreciate that about me and that I appreciate about. I have learned so much from you. I've learned so much from all of the women in our our group, and it has really enabled me to find people in real life also who are, on this path as well. And I think that that's been so important and so comforting to me. Like this is a dream I have had my whole life, is to have friends like this, to have a sisterhood like this. So I'm just like, the amount of gratitude I feel for that is just unending.
yeah. Like you said, sometimes you just crave a meaningful conversation. And anytime we get together, it's like 3 hours. We all just we can't stop. It's like I want more of this.
Yeah.
Thank
Yep.
goodness.
Yeah. And I think, this is the thing. And I think you and I have some other connection points that are synchronicities that continue to arise. And I think, this makes me think I met up with one of my friends in real life, and, we exchanged like very like a surface level conversation for about 30 seconds. And then we're like, okay, so let's talk about death, because you and I both had recent experiences of
Mhm.
deaths of people that were
Yeah.
very close to us. And both of these deaths happened within like a week of
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah.
Um, and so I think again, this is just like a way that our lives keep intertwining with each other, and having that shared experience and being able to talk about the connection that we have now with the
Mhm.
people who departed, and just how comforting it is to know that like you immediately got a connection with your friend, I
Mm.
immediately had a connection with my friend when they passed away. And, it also is a little bit of a myth buster because I've heard, these rules about like you can't connect with people right after they've passed away. And that's not true either. So, yeah.
Well, both of them were very spiritual themselves, right? So I think there might have been some kind of access that we didn't know about, um, the star access.
Yeah, I mean, it's very interesting. Like, that's a whole experience too, but like the synchronicities that have aligned um, from my friend's death and the messages that I have heard from her in spirit. She was such an irreverent, like audacious person. And she told me, she's like, I planned this
Yeah.
perfectly. I mean, I heard her say that to me, and I'm like, and the more I reflect on it, I'm like, actually, yes, I could see she was such a planner in real life. I could absolutely see that her soul had like planned all of this stuff out, the way that everything happened with that. So I just and probably so much more than I can even see, so many synchronicities that I don't even see yet.
Yeah, and you basically learned that you were a death doula for her for many lifetimes, right? And now you have her dog, and the dog is living with you, and the timing of it, it
Mhm.
needed to be you at that time so that you could take the dog within hours of her passing. And
Right,
that is just unbelievable. I mean, I guess it's not unbelievable when we're in our world, anything is possible, but
right.
how, wow, to go through that and not, um, it was very helpful for me to be able to connect with you, and I hope it was helpful for you to like have that community because I think it was Nicole who helped walk you through like what it could have been, and it doesn't change that we have the very human grief process of that, um, but whew, yeah, I hope you're doing okay with that.
Yeah.
It's been a little bit of time, but comes in waves, I'm sure.
It does come in waves. And it also like the but I think this is the thing. I see the waves of synchronicities now as much as I see the waves of grief. And it's like, in a way, it's just such a beautiful gift to have. And, I wish, of course, I wish that my human friend was still here in the 3D and
Yeah.
we could go have lunch today. But I also am like I mean this, eternally grateful to her. So um yeah, it's just been and I was going to say a kind of a magical experience, but I don't want to make light of the grief that's involved. And I also think this grief journey has been very interesting as well, because I think it's very intertwined with loving other people. You wouldn't feel grief if you hadn't felt love. So
Mm.
I feel like that they go hand in hand in a way.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm so grateful for you to be willing to share these stories. I'm sure that this will resonate with people who are maybe on the fringe or not sure. I think we represent, um, what's the possibilities are that, you can slip into this world at any time and know that you're supported and, not crazy, and that people will step forward in times of need to hold that space for you when you need it. Um, so, Diane, this is a wonderful conversation. I think we'll wrap it up here unless there's anything else you want to share. Do you want, people to find you anywhere, or do you want to share anything else about you before we say goodbye?
I will I'll send you the links. All
Okay.
right.
All right,
Great.
everybody. Thank you, Diane, my sister from many, many, many generations. I love
Yes.
you.
I love you too, Dandra.
Thank you for being you and for following those breadcrumbs to allow me to get to this point to be your friend. I value it so much.
And I feel the same way. I am so, so grateful for your friendship. And thank you so much for this opportunity today.
Yeah. Love you, Diane.
Love you
Thank
too,
you.
Dandra. See ya.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.